Institute on Religious Life presents Vocation Harvest on WSFI 88.5 FM, Catholic Radio.
Hello, I'm Father Anthony Rice with the Canons Regular of St. John Cantius. I'm stationed at St. Peter Church in Volo, Illinois. Well, my vocation story, I worked for 9 years. I was a director of student activities at several colleges, universities, and the last school I was at working was the University of South Carolina in Sumter, one of the smaller branch campuses, and that's when the vocation started. Growing up, I was an altar boy. I always loved going to Mass and spending time in church. But I wanted to be a history teacher. That was my plan. So I thought I had something else in mind. And then God finally called me to serve Him in the church. I first studied for my home diocese, Birmingham in Alabama, and I was studying for a year. And during that year, I felt God was calling me more to religious life. And at that time, I found out about EWTN. So I looked into the friars at EWTN, and I joined them for 4 years. I was a brother there. And then I was out for a year, and I came to St. John Cantius in Chicago. And a friend of mine at EWTN, he was the one that told me about St. John Cantius. He had lived in Chicago before moving to Birmingham, and his parish was St. John Cantius. So he told me about the community and the church there. Father Phillips had started a new community. So when I joined the community, St. John Cantius, it was only 4 years old. So I was kind of one of the newer members to join after the 4 years had been founded. I've been ordained since 2008, so almost 7 years being ordained. And ever since ordination, I've been stationed at St. Peter's, a parish in Volo. That's our second parish we have with our community. And I've been the associate pastor for these past almost 7 years. And beginning July 1st this year, I'll be the new administrator. I think some of the things that helped me in my discernment were prayer, obviously, spending time with God in prayer. The rosary, as probably almost everybody, the rosary's been a big part of my prayer life. The office of readings, divine office, liturgy of hours, that came later. I didn't know what that was until I joined the community, so that came later. But now that I am a religious, that has been a big part of my continued prayer life and my growth in my spiritual life. Going to Mass, obviously, is a big part for religious. And now being a priest, obviously we offer Mass every day. And just the Holy Mass, what a great gift that is we have as Catholics to be able to, me as a priest, to be able to celebrate the Mass now. But even growing up and as a brother and other parts of my formation, attending Mass has been something that has really nourished me and given me what I need to hopefully to grow in holiness, grow in my spiritual life. The saints, that's how one of the big things they used was Mass to help them in their growth in holiness. So I think all of us can follow in their footsteps to have the Mass, the holy sacrifice. That's the highest form of worship that we give God. And that's the best way we can praise Him, thank Him, adore Him, love Him. Everything that we give God is in the Mass. So to be a priest now is such a great honor and privilege that I have to be able to celebrate the Mass and just the graces that come from every Mass, whether it's a huge attendance or no one there or my private Mass, whatever it is. The graces that come from Mass for the sanctification of the world and for me and our community, my family, is just so important. How I chose St. John Cantius, like I said earlier, a friend in EWTN, he told me about St. John Cantius. And I'd never heard of St. John Cantius. He's a Polish saint. I'd never heard of him. And growing up in Alabama, I'd never thought about moving to Chicago. That's something that a boy from Alabama doesn't think about. So it was totally foreign to me to go to a big city like Chicago. I came that year for my visit. It was Holy Week of 2002. And I met Father Phillips and the brothers and the priest. I stayed for the Holy Week, and I was really enthralled by the Holy Week, the liturgy, the Masses, and Good Friday, the commemoration of the Lord's Passion, the Vigil, Easter Sunday, everything. So that's what affected me, I think, the most, the liturgy. And the church, come into the beautiful church with the high altar, the communion rail, and those things still being used for Mass. That was something that really affected me in my decision. I have a big devotion to St. Joseph, so I prayed to him intercession for my vocation, and he came through many times for me. When I applied for the community, the first time I wrote the community was in February. And Father Phillips, I did a novena to St. Joseph, ending March 19th, his big feast day. And the next day, Father Phillips called me and asked me about coming to visit the community. And then I did another novena to end on May 1st, St. Joseph the Worker. And the next day, Father Phillips called me about joining, so I see St. Joseph as an integral part of my vocation with St. John Cantius. What I find most rewarding about religious life would be having community life, with my brothers, brother priests and brothers in religion, the novices, the different brothers in formation. And that's, to me, the most rewarding thing. And being all together, our mindset, we're all alike in our love for the Holy Mass and our community and for the church in general. We each have our different personalities, and we each have things that we're each trying to work on. We're all striving to be holy, but it's just that community life, that the rewards that come from that has been very beneficial. And I think anybody in community life will attest to that. The most challenging about religious life, for me, I'm at our second parish, and it's just two of us right now. So to me, one of the most challenging things has been being separated a little bit from the main community. We visit, once a week. I go into Chicago, but still having that daily contact. And I know they're still there. They pray for me, I pray for them. I know that connection is still there. But sometimes having that physical closeness is, as a community, seeing all the priests and brothers together for meals or prayer, things like that. To me, that's been the most challenging thing for me that I've had to deal with. And it's gotten better over 7 years. I had 7 years to work on that. But that's still a challenge for me. But I know, once again, in religious life, we give everything to God. And He gives us what we need to get through our struggles, our trials, our tribulations, our happy times, everything.
This has been Vocation Harvest on WSFI 88.5 FM Catholic Radio. For more information about the religious life, visit religiouslife.com.